Okay, so here we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of my YouTube channel, Dare to Fulfill Your Dreams. And as usual, you know that this channel is all about women who migrated from one country to another. They're doing absolutely fabulous things with themselves, and they're here to share their story in their own special way. So I'm Susan Cambridge. And my very special and amazing guest this morning is Paris Baroud. And Paris has a wonderful story. And Paris also had her fair share of migrating, integrating, and becoming very, very creative. So I'm not going to give it all away. I'm just going to say a very warm welcome to you, Paris. And thank you so much for being here on Dare to Fulfill Your Dreams. So, Paris, your name is Paris Baroud. And you said that you are originally from Somalia. So tell us about this trip and how you got here to Canada.
Okay. So I was born in Somalia.
Mhm.
Somalia is in Africa. So when we left Somalia, we actually landed in Italy. So I was living in Italy with my family, and so obviously in the 80s, it was very difficult for you know people of color to find work, especially my dad.
Yes.
So we ended up moving. So I'm Muslim, but we were very connected with the Catholic Church.
Okay.
So the Catholic Church told us about Canada and how Canada was very diverse and they're very welcoming to people of color. So the Catholic Church in Italy spoke with the Catholic Church in Canada, and we actually came to Canada as landed immigrants.
Oh, wow, that is an amazing part of the story that I didn't know about, you see.
Yes,
So here I am, just as surprised to hear about that. So you actually been to Italy and then you came to Canada. So how old were you at that time? I guess you were a lot younger.
yeah,
So
I
you
was very
remembered a
young.
little bit about Italy?
Just briefly, not a lot. Like I just
Okay.
remember riding my bike. I guess I remember one of the main things that I remember from Italy is I was riding my bike and then I guess I fell. And I remember
Oh,
getting stitches on my forehead.
oh
That I
dear.
remember, maybe because it was a traumatic experience.
All right, so we move along to happier times that you've
Yes.
been to Canada and so on. So coming to Canada, a little bit about growing up
Mhm.
and to where you are in
Yes.
terms of today.
Yeah. So like one of the first memories I have of when we first came to Canada is walking into our apartment. So I remember because we were sponsored by the Catholic Church. So I remember walking into my bedroom, and there was a dresser, and inside the dresser there was Barbie dolls.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, so it was a really nice welcome. But one of the things that I remember is that all the Barbie dolls were white, right?
Oh.
So,
Mhm.
but I mean, it was toys, so I was really happy and super excited. So Sarnia was really nice. I it was very like I was the only person of color in my whole school, and I
That
mean
must have been
by
an experience.
yeah. So by person of color, I mean like anybody. There was nobody who was not white at my school. Everybody was
Right.
just white. There was no
Right.
Asians, nothing. I was the only person of color in my school, and I don't remember this, but my mom said I had a really hard time. I didn't
Yes.
like the fact that I looked different from
Different.
everybody. So I had good memories there, but I also felt a little lonely when I was
So
living
what were some of the coping skills that you were able to use to be able to get through all of that? Because obviously you're fantastically successful now. So something worked very, very well. And then to compound the fact that you are Muslim, so were you able to practice a lot of your culture and still, while you are still in a mix where you're unique?
there.
And how did that work for you?
I We were really connected with the Catholic Church, even though we were Muslim. So I know most both faiths have a lot to do with acceptance of other people. So I think the core values of these religions are accepting people for who they are. It doesn't matter what they look like. So I had a lot of friends that I just know, and I never understood racism or I never felt any racist situations or was in any racist situations. I just felt different. Like I didn't have anybody that I could relate to. But we didn't live in Sarnia for very long. We lived there for only a year.
Okay.
And then we moved to Toronto.
Okay. So where it's all more of a melting pot.
Yeah. And my mom said I flourished. I
Well, because when you look around, then you see a lot more of you, and it feels it's a little more of a comfort zone. And I do say that I really love the statement that you made, where the commonalities, despite the different religious background,
yeah,
that you look for more the things that are common to humanity.
yeah.
And that is such a very, very important element. So great, we move on to Toronto and you flourish from there. So we're going to fast forward a bit now.
Yeah.
And then so you decided to go into social work.
Yes. So I lived in Toronto until 2003,
Okay.
and then we moved to Alberta.
Oh, closer
Yeah.
to home now. I'm in
Yeah.
Lloydminster, closer to
Oh,
home now.
yeah. So I lived in Edmonton. So I decided to go into social work because my mom's also a social worker.
Oh, great.
So I always used to have volunteers. I was exposed to, just helping, and I have a natural personality where it's natural for me to be resourceful, right? I like
I
to
can
help
tell.
people. Um, so it fit perfectly with what I wanted to do. They say that if you chase money, right,
Yes.
you'll never be really happy because it's not something that you want to do. But with social work, I felt like this is who I am. I didn't care. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is my life calling. And I actually wanted to work with immigrants when I was in school. That was what I originally wanted to do. And I didn't want to work with children. Because I'm a parent, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can handle that. I don't want to work in the field. And I remember my school, like my field instructor was like, how do you know you won't like it unless you try it? So I did my field placement at Children's Services.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And the nice thing about it, I think the fact that you are actually having the opportunity to work with diverse cultures, I think it makes the social work, it takes it to another level of interest, as well as, how do I say, that ability to integrate. You know what I mean? To be able to understand, to share, and to integrate, as if it were not, but if it was just one ethnicity group or diversity or social circle, as they say. So that's absolutely amazing. So you have kids of your own?
Yes, I have 3 kids, but at the time I was in school, I only had 1.
That's all right. But having a child, I think at that time, and probably even going through the studies of being a social worker, I'm sure that must have helped in your parenting and in some shape or form, right? Because nowadays you can probably look at the work. You have your daughter, and well, I shouldn't say if it's a daughter. Is it a girl or is it a boy? The first
Well,
one.
I had my daughter last, but I had my sons at first.
Yeah,
I
I
had
just
my one son, yeah.
one
And
son.
then I always say social work changed my personality because I feel
Wow.
like, yeah, it made me more patient, empathetic. It made me a good listener,
Well, you see,
right?
that's interesting. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you must have brought that into your home elements,
Oh,
into
absolutely.
the fabric of your family as well.
Yeah, because I'm like okay, let's get it done. Oh, you need this? Okay, this is how you get it. This is where you go. This is what you do. Whereas with social work, going to school
Yeah.
for social work, it's like, okay, taking a step back and just actually like listening to the person and being a better listener. So those are the skills that I took from it.
Perfect. Wonderful. So again, a little bit about your background in terms of being Muslim and stuff like that. How much of that has spilled over? And I wouldn't say spill over. How much of that is involved in your work in terms
In
of your
my
cultural differences? Which do you still celebrate some of it?
Yes, I am. I practice my religion even though I'm not wearing a scarf right now.
Great, great, great.
uh,
Okay, so how much of that is evolved in what you do, and how is it embraced? I think that's the way I'd like to say.
Yeah. So with social work, it's all about helping others. I don't. My job is not to empower anybody because obviously when you say you're going to empower somebody, you're taking away their right, because they only empower themselves. I could just give them tools and resources to make those decisions for themselves. I find that with, with social work values, it aligns with my religion a lot, because it's like one of our five, like we have 5 core principles, like it's called the pillars of Islam. And like one of them is charity, right? It's financial charity, but charity could be a lot of things. It could be giving your time, your energy, your thought, your emotions. It's just giving back, right?
Yes.
And if you look at the teachings of our Prophet, if you look at him and his teaching, he was very kind, generous. He helped people. He just helped. It just aligned perfectly.
Perfect. I am feeling the embrace, because I mean, I've spoken to a lot of different people in diverse cultures, and they have shared similar sentiments, and I totally understand it, and I totally get it. I totally appreciate it, and I can see exactly how it can augur well for what you do. So let's talk about beauty. We are all beautiful women in our own in our own way. But I would like to know now a little bit about your business. So I know that you said during COVID and being on maternity leave, you had a lot of time to think and all of that. So here's my question. A
Yeah.
lot of us in COVID now had to wear this face mask.
Yeah.
So I was even saying, you know what, I think I better just get rid of all my lipsticks. You know, I was so frustrated, right?
Yeah.
But here you are evolving now with a business and a line of lipsticks. So tell us about the birth of that.
So first, like with lipstick, I'm a lipstick person. I would wear lipstick before I'll ever wear foundation. I love lipstick, right? Like it can transform your whole face, right? Depending on the outing, the occasion. But like you said, with masks, it's very difficult to wear lipstick because it'll go on your mask. So that's why I came out with the 5 lipsticks, and they're liquid matte, so they dry on, they don't come off.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So before I started my lipstick line, I was actually just testing the market. I was actually selling other people's items on Amazon.
Okay.
And once I got the feel of it, I understood it a little bit. I was like, okay, now I want to create something that's mine.
So you went into the business aspect of it first, and then decided, okay, this is my time to jump in and become creative. So this is where you did the first line, the first lipstick line of the plumper. Is that how it's called?
So I created the lip plumper first because I wanted to do one product first. I wanted just to see it because I didn't want to go in and like invest all this money, and it wasn't going to be successful. So I just did it just to test it out. So that's when I created my first item that was my own. It was the lip plumper.
Right.
It's the Narcissa lip plumper. It's the name Narcissa comes from actually Greek mythology. It's the feminine of Narcisse. Basically, he was looking in the water and he seen a reflection of himself and just fell in love.
Oh, wow. Well, I like the sound of that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So even the lip plumper has a background story, and you seem to always align anything that you do with a little bit of history, whether it is your cultural background, because I guess it kind of brings a part of you. It shows where you bring a part of you into everything that you do. So the lip plumper was also formed the same time the company was formed. Is it Narcissa Beauty? Is that it?
Yes. So I want, because obviously the market is saturated with lipsticks, makeup. Everybody has a makeup line. Everybody has something, right? So I wanted it to be different, and I wanted it to be meaningful.
Absolutely.
So that's why I attach stories with my products, because it's something, usually we get a product and we throw away the box, but I want people to keep my box because my box has
the history.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now the business being born. So you went into a partnership with this business, and then the rest of the products, they were born. So now the intriguing part of all of this, you have the lip plumper, and then now you have these other brands of lipsticks named after these African queens, correct?
Yes. So I created, it's a collection in the Narcissa Beauty brand, and I named it after my daughter.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So it's like my daughter, what it is my daughter symbolizes me.
Oh, wow.
A baby.
this is getting more and more closer to my heart. No wonder that I was so drawn to this, when I started to read about it. So definitely.
Yeah.
So
So I'm 35. Yeah, so I'm 35 years old, but I named this after my daughter, but really it's like what my daughter represents. She represents, the younger me who had no knowledge of any of this. So I named it after my daughter, but I'm doing it for me too.
Well, look at this. There's such a thing called legacy, right?
Yeah.
And as it goes on and it passes on, it is already impacting her generation, even if she's small, because her name and the thought and everything is being mentioned. So now I am looking at you and I'm seeing this striking beauty. I am admiring the actual product that you are wearing. And even before we started talking, I was like, I've got to get me one of those. I think it's just going to look awesome. So tell us about the other colors, the meaning behind each of them, because I would want to learn a little bit, because I know that they all have a name.
Okay, so I'm actually wearing Queen Nandi right now. This is my favorite one. Queen Nandi. She is, people mostly know her son, Shaka Zulu.
Okay, that much I know.
Yes. So this is Shaka Zulu's mom. Okay. So basically the story behind Queen Nandi is she basically was she was impregnated with Shaka Zulu before she was married.
Okay.
And obviously in that culture, so she was like the first single mom of history, like in that country. So basically, obviously she was shunned, disrespected, because and history, there's different variations. Like some people say she was raped, some people say it was like her partner, her boyfriend, but point is she was pregnant before she got married, and she was disrespected, shunned, chased out of her neighborhood, like her village. So she ran away with her pregnant belly, and then she went into a neighboring village and they welcomed her. She had her son. She raised her son. It was great. But then when her son grew up, he went back to where they came from and he became their leader. And so what he did is he brought his mom back. So now his mom is ruling over the people that basically shunned her and disrespected her.
Well, that's like almost rising from the ashes kind of thing, right?
Right? Against social pressures, because you have to understand, she was the lowest of the low. She was pregnant before marriage. She was kicked out of the village. She was basically an outcast. And then now she's the queen of the nation.
She's the queen, absolutely. Right? And here's this lipstick now to amplify and beautify, to bring out beauty.
Absolutely. And even she could have come back and just been a horrible ruler and been and because these people hurt her, right?
Yes.
And instead she just became this amazing woman who was an amazing leader.
Wow. And that fits so perfect into the discussion and into this channel, Dare to Fulfill Your Dreams, and talking about challenges and migrating and moving from one place to the next. And here it is, your product is an element of exactly what we are talking about. So you're wearing Nandi and I just love it. So tell us a little bit more about the others. Are they different in what are the variations in color? So this has a nice matte kind of coffee kind of look, right?
So it's all matte. This is more of like a pinkish nude.
Pinkish nude, and then the other second one.
Yeah. So then I have Moremi.
Right.
And she was a warrior queen from Nigeria.
Okay.
Right. With her, she was basically, her people were always at war with a neighboring country or village. Okay. And they would come in, they would take their food, their crops, they would destroy everything, and her people were so scared of these people.
Right.
So what she did is she allowed herself to be captured by these people, but they loved her so much that the king ended up falling in love with her. I don't know, right? Okay. But he ended up bringing her in. She learned all of their secrets. She learned their military secrets. She did once she learned that, hey, these people are actually not invincible, she went back to her family and she told them that to defeat the people who were robbing them, taking away their food, their livelihood, was just to basically, they didn't actually do this, but they said that they were wearing like hay, like something that can burn, right?
Right.
So she told them, if you want to defeat these people, you just need to have a torch and they will run scared. So what they did, they had a torch, and when they seen the torches and these people didn't want to be burned alive, they ran away and they never came back, and then her village was saved.
Oh wow! So she was like a hero, very much
Yeah.
like a hero, and somebody who found a way to defeat the enemy, kind of thing.
Yes.
Yes. And so, what color does that bring out? This one is sort of nude.
Oh.
What color does that one bring out?
That one is a black mat.
It's a black mat.
Yes, it's a black mat.
Wow, that one is striking and powerful, no doubt.
It is.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. I want to go on to hear a little bit more about the next one. I'm just glued to these stories. I have to tell you, because I don't think that I've spoken with anyone who blends their product into such like powerful history where women are concerned. I mean, there's probably a lot of it around, but this is my first, and I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it.
Well, thank you. So, and then the next one is Queen Yasantiwa.
Let me get that name. Queen
Yasantiwa. Yes.
Perfect. Yes.
So she was the queen of modern day Ghana.
Okay.
Okay. So she was basically queen mother.
Okay. And
she was like the main advisor to the king.
Okay.
So they were dealing a lot with the British.
Okay.
So basically with her, she was a warrior queen as well. With her, her job was to protect the golden stool. Right. So when the Brits came and they basically invaded her village, the men of the village were like, oh, we need to apologize. They were just very timid. Okay. And she was like, no, like, absolutely not. We are not giving away our golden stool to the British. We are not going to be defeated. We are going to fight. And she's like, if the men don't stand up, she's like, the women of this village, we will fight.
Oh boy. Right? And I could imagine what that brought.
Right. So then the men were just kind of like taken back by it. And they were like, okay, fine. You know what? So she gave them the courage to actually fight.
Absolutely.
Right. And the fact that she was female, she was a warrior, she was the main advisor.
And she was not afraid.
And she was not afraid. She's like, if you guys are not going to get it together, we the women, we will get it together and protect this land.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And that color brings out what, in terms of the lipstick now, what, because they have the nude, then you have the black one, and then this color is what does it look like?
It's a chocolate nude.
Oh, chocolate nude.
So
nice. So that's 3. And we have, it's 1 more, right? 2 more.
Yes, 2 more.
We can have 5.
Yeah. So then we have Arawella.
What name is that one?
Arawella.
Okay, Arawella, right. Okay, yeah. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, so she was the queen. So she's actually from where I'm from, Somalia.
Somalia, okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like in my culture, a young girl who's very opinionated or headstrong, they'll be like, oh, they'll nickname her Arawello because she's assertive, or like she's just headstrong. They'll call her Arawello.
Okay. No doubt where she got it from. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stories about Arawello, but the main theme about her is that she wanted to defy the gender roles.
Okay.
She was like, we as women, we can do what the men do. We can hunt, we can fish, we can fight, right? Our role is not just to cook and clean at home.
Right.
So a lot of the members of the community were against that because obviously it's like nobody likes change. So she left and created her own village, mostly of women.
Wow, that was a game changer. Definitely.
So, and just to gain fear, I guess, from men, she put out a rumor that any man that tries to invade, they will be hung by their testicles.
Oh, and they would not like that.
Especially coming from a woman. No.
She was not playing.
Oh, she was not playing, but she taught these women how to fight. She taught them how to hunt. She taught them how to basically take care of themselves. And a lot of the women who reached out to her were women fleeing abuse from their own families, from their husbands, just women who wanted to take control of their life. So she gave women a voice.
Absolutely. And you know, the more and more I chat with you and the more we go into your products, you know, this whole interview has taken such another shift,
Oh,
you know, because it brings out everything that epitomizes
mm-hmm.
growth, progress
Yeah.
for women, because we can actually relate to how these stories have impacted in lives today as we go along in terms of making a difference, breaking the ceiling, and trying new things. So every time I think I wear this lipstick now, and I'm saying when I wear it because I feel as though I have it already, I'm going to feel a certain very strong sentimental attachment to the advancement of women. And I have to say that this also, whilst it represents beauty, there is so much strength in it. And that is very much evident in the time that you've taken to bring this passion forward. You didn't just say, well, oh well, let's look at shades and colors, but what it's what it's all about.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, there's some queens that are like that are more known in Africa than others. But I picked these ones because not a lot of people know about Moremi or Yasanti because I didn't know, right?
Right,
Um,
right.
so it was so when I created the thought process behind it, I was just I wanted it to mean something. And like you said, when you put something in, like,
Yes.
and I just want, and you know, Africa is a continent, and a lot of people misunderstand that, right? People who are
Yes.
not from Africa. Africa is not a country. We have countries within a
Within
continent,
the countries,
right?
absolutely.
So I created the Hayat collection because I wanted to unify Africa because
Right.
there's Somalia, there's Egypt, there's Ghana, Nigeria. So do you know what I mean? Like I just
Yes.
wanted it for us to feel united as well, educate ourselves and educate others too.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just totally blown away. So I think we have one more, or we've gone through all of them.
No, we have one more.
We have one more. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
So the last one is Nefertiti.
Right.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
She was a ruler in Egypt.
Right. That one I'm a
And
little more familiar with.
yes.
You hear about that one pretty often. Yes.
But what I liked about her is that she was always like her husband's right. Her husband was a pharaoh, so she was always his right hand. If you look at earlier pictures of them, like you know, and the drawings that they have in Egypt, she was always like with him. They were affectionate towards each other. She was very involved in the politics. And her role was to, I guess, they had a different god, so they were trying to introduce this new god to their people.
Right.
So she had a lot to do with the persuasion of her people. Like people trusted her,
Right.
right? Like I feel like if it had just been the pharaoh, maybe he would have led with like, you know, an iron fist, right? Whereas
Yes.
like, she was
Yes.
more soft and people were more drawn to her.
Because I guess compassion,
Yeah.
empathy, the usual things that go with that. So that's
But she was like,
perfect.
she was forefront in everything. She was involved in politics. She was involved in creating the rules. She was involved in her kingdom. She wasn't just a wife.
Well, you know, they say behind a strong man, there's always usually a stronger and very supportive
Right.
woman. So
Yeah.
it goes to show. So I know, just going back a little bit, I wanted to find out about the color
Mm-hmm.
as it appears on the previous queen that we were just
Oh,
talking about.
Aruelo. Sorry, it was Aruelo is a red matte, like a blood red.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That one is probably striking too.
Oh, it is. Everybody loves Aruelo. It's very
Oh,
like, bright and it's very nice.
nice. And so this one now, Nefertiti, which one?
It's
Um,
more of like a fuchsia color, like a almost like a magenta, kind of, not really, but it's almost like a fruit punch kind of
a
red,
fruit
like
punch
it's
color.
like a pinkish red, yeah.
Yes. So now that we have all this history and everything else, tell me about some of the feedback that you've been receiving. I know that your product is doing well, but any particular comments that that come to the forefront of your mind?
Mhm. Oh
What
yeah.
are some of the feedback that you've been getting?
I have a lot of feedback from different people from different countries. Like, I know I've had some feedback from women from Nigeria, and they just felt like a sense of ownership to
Yes.
my lipstick because it's, it showcases their history, right?
Yes. Yes.
So they're proud of that, and it just they gave me a like almost validation of what I wanted, right? Because it's like
Right.
I wanted women to connect.
Yes. Yes.
Mostly I wanted women from these like from these countries to be like, hey, like this is from my country, like this is
Yes.
showcasing me. So I was
Yes.
excited about that. I've also gotten feedback from people who are not from these countries, and they're like, oh wow, this is amazing, because obviously we're all the same in the sense we're all women, and we all want women empowerment, and we love hearing stories about women who had you know problems, or like tests, and they basically passed the test, like in history. And the fact
Yes.
that it's 2021 and we still have these issues today as women. So
Yes,
I'm hearing
absolutely.
that this is how many hundreds of years ago, and there's women before us who've been fighting for our voice.
Exactly.
So
Making it so relevant into today, and that is absolutely amazing. Now we all have this browning look, this browning complexion, and as women of our complexion, we are not afraid really to try just about any color, anything, anytime that we choose to. In terms of the other women who are a lighter shade to our complexion, how are they responding to this product? How are they fitting in?
oh
Are they feeling the same excitement? Do they think, okay, it's a little too strong? How are they fitting in?
so the colors that I picked, I made sure that they look good on everybody, whether you're white, Asian, black, dark skin, light skin. These colors look good on everybody. They're not specifically just for people of color. Yeah, they are, you know, so they're not just meant for one shade or just for people come from my country or the country that these colors come
Right,
from.
right,
But it's like we wear lipsticks that were created by white people, for
right,
example. So
right,
it's like th- this this lipstick line was created by a black person, but white
right.
people can wear it too, right?
Absolutely.
So it's for everybody, but the lipstick that you were wearing is named after a black woman.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Which makes it even more enduring,
Yeah.
as for want of better words. So that's beautiful. So Paris, so now that this has kicked off, what is the next move for you in terms of your products, business? I mean, I know you're a social worker, so I mean, life goes on there. What is your next step in terms of your dreams? You've already realized you've sampled the market. This is working
Mhm.
well for you. What are the plans next for Paris?
So I realized that yes, I can be creative, but I'm more of a storyteller. I like sharing stories.
Yes.
So the Hayat collection, named after the African queens, that was a collection. So the next collection that I'm thinking of is obviously to showcase other strong women. I'm in the middle of research for that one as well, but I feel like the Narcissa brand is gonna be all about just showcasing all the strong women, you know, and in the spirit of like obviously inclusivity. I'm
Yes.
not I'm thinking of maybe doing the Greek goddesses, the goddess of
Right.
love, the goddess of war, like
Oh,
somehow bringing that into it. But I just want to talk about strong women, just women
absolutely.
in general.
I mean, that is so amazing. I mean, I've in my lifetime of interviewing people, being a journalist, etc., etc., um, I have always human interest stories have always been my kind of thing, and anything that pops out that has anything to do with a woman taking a bold step, or moving on from one thing to the other, just being progressive. I mean, obviously challenges and so on are all part of the makeup of how we progress. But the fact that you've taken so much time to resonate what you're doing right now with the past is such an important factor in terms of moving forward, because a lot of people, to get from point A to point B, it's very important of where they come from and what they've done before to put into where they're going. And so this is why, for me, this channel and this page that I've created, this is not just a migration of one place to the next, it's also a migration of the mind, how we think and how we influence people.
Absolutely.
And that is what making this so amazing, you know. So you have people who are very close to you, you have friends and so on. If what somebody who knows you well, what would they say about you?
They would say that I was a go-getter.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of naysayers, like, oh, we're in COVID, or there's already lipsticks, like, you know, and I was just like, thank you. You just pushed me to do something different. So yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that would have been one of the challenges that you would have had to overcome, some of the naysayers, as you say, and the negatives. But for the most part,
for the most part, it's because even the naysayers that were like, what are you doing? Why are you creating a business during COVID? You're crazy. You're supposed
but
to
it was the absolute ample time to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Even them, they were just like, wow, like, I'm really proud of you. But you know, some people just don't like change. They don't like testing the waters. They're afraid to fail. But I'm not afraid to fail, because even if I fail 10 times, I'll still get up.
That's a good thing about it. And you would never know until you try, right?
Absolutely.
You would never know. So what would be one of the messages, the ultimate statement you would make for women who've gone through, for women who've just landed? What are some of the things that you would like to share with them, or how would you like to inspire them to be who they are, be not afraid, and to reinvent themselves if they have to?
The one thing that I would always push for is always, building relationships. It's so important to build relationships with your neighbors, your family, like your coworkers, because tomorrow you don't know who could help you, right? You don't know who could be there to support you. You can't do everything by yourself. You need people to stand beside you, and basically, to get good friends, you need to be a good friend, right?
Absolutely.
If you see something that's lacking, be what's lacking, and then you will bring it into I'm all for manifestation. Whatever you take out there is what you will get back.
I'm a total believer of that myself, right. A total believer of that.
Yeah, so absolutely. Be a good person, and God will bring good people to you.
That is such an awesome way to end. And just before we go, let's talk about being able to get your product, how we get it, easy access, how to have fun with it, a little bit of on the beauty tip side, and how to get it from you.
It's available for purchase on Amazon. So Amazon does the shipping for me, mainly because I'm a mom and I have a full-time job. So Amazon just came so perfectly, because I just send my products to Amazon, people purchase it, and then Amazon takes care of the shipping for me.
Wonderful.
So if you want to purchase it, it's on amazon.ca. Just search in Narcissa Beauty and it'll all pop up for you.
That is awesome. That is wonderful. And like I said, I am so looking forward to it. And for those who would be viewing the video and stuff, I will have the information in there from Paris. I will put some information in there telling you how to get it, how to follow her, how to look out to see what's next that she's coming out with. I am absolutely thrilled. And I would like to thank you so very much for taking the time out to share this amazing history. I feel so, that I've learned so much, and it really, really helps me along the way. And you look absolutely stunning. I mean, even you're wearing it, and I mean, if I could look anything like that, then that's wonderful. I'm taking the recommendations.
Yes,
of
I
which
think
one?
you would look great in Queen Nandi for like an everyday. But Susan, thank you so much for
Yes.
inviting me, for giving me this platform. I really appreciate you. I love what you're doing. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity.
So thank you so much, and you are very, very welcome. So you have an awesome day, and go out there and just blow everyone away
Oh, thank
with
you.
your products. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye bye.